Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. If this is your first time being here, thank you so much for being here. I hope you stay. I hope you subscribe. I hope you like. If you are looking to feel more empowered, I believe this is a place for you. So thank you for being here. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Without you, this channel wouldn't exist. And I believe that this channel offers information that can be very fruitful for people who apply the knowledge that comes through my guidance. So I love what I do. I always say that. And without you, I wouldn't be doing what I love to do. So thank you for being part of my journey. We are almost at the end of January. Where does the time go? Everything seems to be moving faster and faster. And when things are moving really fast, sometimes that can feel very disorienting. So today, with the new moon happening on January 29th, I was guided to channel some messages that will support us in the next phase of our journey. And I was reminded that 2025 is going to be a year of a lot of changes. It's a very pivotal year. And by the way, if you would like to have a forecast for your zodiac sign, individual zodiac sign, in terms of what's coming up for you in 2025, I have the zodiac signs forecast. I'm offering them right now, so the link is down below, and all of them go into depth as to what opportunities are awaiting for you, especially in terms of healing. So if you are interested in that, the link is down below. But I was reminded that year 2025 was going to be a very, very pivotal year, and a year of a lot of opportunities and a lot of changes. But we have to take advantage of these opportunities. And some of these opportunities are going to be presented in a different way than we are used to. And that requires a certain level of trust in order for us to pursue these opportunities. It also allows us to let go of what no longer serves us. And every time there is a full moon, according to my team, each full moon represents almost like an opening to a brand new experience. And because the full moon is coming, it is in Aquarius, and it stands for freedom, liberation, and innovation. And it's a sign of opening doors and expanding consciousness. So essentially, with each full new moon, we are moving through a gateway, if you will, that leads us to brand new experiences. So that we can have more expanded experiences. And that can bring, like I said, a lot of anxiety, because oftentimes something new is also something that is unknown, and humans are afraid of the unknown. There's a huge fear of the unknown is very, very prevalent. So you actually might be in a situation right now where you feel like you're stuck, and you don't know where you're going, and that is not a very comfortable place to be. But my job is to remind you that the universe always supports you. The universe always supports your path. It doesn't often feel that way or seem that way, but from a higher perspective, the universe always supports us on our journey. So my job is to channel information that will support you in this brand new journey of the brand new moon, so that you can have a little bit more peace, so that you can feel a little bit more at ease, so that you can perhaps have a little bit of a higher understanding of what's going on. Because when we have a higher understanding of what's going on, oftentimes we can relax a little bit more. And when we are in a relaxed state, we are much more open to receiving. And the universe always wants to give. The universe always wants to give, but we have to be open to receiving. So I'm going to go through 3 piles today, and I'm going to share with you the information that I'm getting. And whatever resonates with you, take it. If something doesn't make sense to you yet, put it aside. Perhaps it's going to make sense to you a little bit later, but I know one thing for sure. If you are somehow drawn to this information, to this channel, then there is something in this video for you. So have an open mind, keep an open heart. Don't believe everything as gospel. That's not the point. The point is to help you trust your own intuition. But whatever comes through will generally land with you in a way that will let you know, okay, this message is for me. So you may pick one pile, you may pick all three piles. Oftentimes there's a message in each pile for each person because it covers such a vast range of information. But whatever you're drawn to, kind of keep that information in mind and just see what happens. At the end of the day, like I said, my job with my team is to help and support you on your journey so that you can breathe a little bit easier, so that you can relax more, and so that you can be more open to opportunities that are coming your way. So I already know that there will be opportunities coming your way. They also said to me that year 2025 is a series of births, not one, but many. And I went, ooh. Because, well, let's face it, giving birth, it's not an easy process. If you have witnessed someone giving birth, or if you have had birth, you know that it is often a very uncomfortable process. But at the end of this birth, there's a brand new beginning, there's a child. So metaphorically speaking, when you are in the process of birthing yourself anew, in other words, birthing yourself anew means you are moving to, let's call it a higher level of consciousness. And before the birth happens, what happens is there is a contraction. So before the new is released, there is a contraction phase. And you may be feeling like you're contracted right now. When we feel contracted, we have to relax into it. It makes no sense pushing through something that's contracted because that creates a lot of resistance. So what this simply means is that you are likely going to be going through many births, and we could say that new moon offers an opportunity to birth yourself anew. And as you go through these birth process, or many processes, you will keep expanding more and more to who you really are, which is a divine being. But with each birth, there is a process of discomfort. So we will have many births in 2025, not just one. This is also a message of almost like congratulations, meaning if we collectively were not ready for these births, if you were not ready to birth yourself anew, it simply wouldn't happen. So what I'm saying here is, yes, you will experience many births in this year, in year 2025. And what you want to keep in mind is that at the end of the day, what you want to experience is more inner relaxation, is more inner peace. But we have to go through these bursts of births before we achieve that state. And that is not always an easy process. So hopefully with these messages, you will find your process of birthing yourself anew just a little bit easier. So let's start with pile number one. What energy is supporting you? So for you specifically, what energy is supporting you? And it's called the divine masculine. The number 22 always to me, as Joanna, represents building foundations because it comes to a 4. So this energy is supporting you in putting things into motion, putting things into action. And I'm going to read this to you. The frequency of divine masculine supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. Which is interesting because I was saying that you may feel stuck right now, and what's the energy that's supporting you with the new full moon is one of action. So if you have been contemplating some things, if you have been sitting on ideas, if you have been mulling over your inspirations, now it's the time to put these ideas, to put these inspirations, to put these intentions into action. Starting in February, well, the new moon is on the 29th of January. So whenever you are listening to this, you might still feel like you are a little bit stuck, but towards the end of January, at the beginning of February, you will likely feel this energetic push to want to jump on something, to want to start something, to want to start some new beginning, some new process, and it requires your action. So again, if you're not feeling very active right now, if you're feeling like you're stagnating, the energy of the new moon brings a new focused attention. So it's good for you to have your intentions and be very clear on what your intentions are, because you are going to be supported by this movement energy that's going to essentially ask you to do things, to physically do things. So if you have been thinking of teaching, for example, realize what is it that you want to teach? What material do you want to teach? How do you want people to know about you? How do you want people to know what is it that you teach? In other words, needing to, in this example, needing to put yourself out there in some way where people can see you. So that's an example. Of course, this energy can be applied in any part of your life. It's about action. It's about movement. It's about action. I was also, when I was doing the 2025 predictions, I felt that January was going to be kind of an energy. And past January, things are going to start moving a little bit faster. But even though I'm saying things are going to start moving a little bit faster, things are already moving really fast. So I can only imagine how fast it's going to feel. So again, what's supporting you is an energy of movement and putting your focus and your intentions into actions. Doable things, actions. If you have been thinking of exercising, now actually go ahead and do it. If you have been thinking of wanting to take a course, now starting in February, do it. So this is very action oriented. No more stagnation. Promise of new future. This literally says what I was talking about earlier. You are standing at a brand new doorway. You are facing your future, but you're not there yet. You're in this opening where one step forward is going to move you closer to your quote unquote future. It requires you to take steps. So right now, as you're hearing this, you might be feeling stuck. You might be feeling a little bit unsure, but you, in your heart, you know that there is a brighter future for you. You're just not in the experience of it yet. And I feel that's very tightly tied to this energy of action, because all this being has to do is put his foot forward and then another forward, and he's going to be making steps towards this brighter future. You are in this space right now. You're at this threshold. You also have guidance and support system behind you. Like I said, the universe always supports you. Sometimes it's about asking the right question. For example, if you are wanting to create something and you don't know how to make it happen, the question you might want to ask the universe is, how do I approach that which I want to experience? Hey, universe, how do I approach that which I want to experience? In other words, you're asking the universe for guidance how to experience whatever it is that you are to experience. And undoubtedly, the universe is going to give you exactly what you need in order for you to make right steps, the right decisions, and the right choices. The word choices is amplified here. It is, it's remembering that we always have a choice. It's a hard one to take sometimes, but we almost always have a choice. We don't often think that we have a choice, but in fact, we have many, many choices. But sometimes in order to see these choices, we have to shift our thinking and we have to look at our programming. So if you feel, for example, that your hands have been tied, chances are no one is actually tying your hands together. It's an inner feeling, it's an inner state where you are feeling like your hands are being tied. So if this is you, if you feel like your hands are being tied with respect to some situation, ask yourself, how are you standing in your own way? How are you standing in your own way of creating this brighter future for yourself? Because that's going to expose some key components in your conditioned subconscious beliefs in terms of what you believe. If you have fears about your future, then you are still in the fear frequency. So you will be projecting fear forwards towards your future. You don't want to do that. So you want to face your fear, shadow work. You want to understand your fear. You shift your perception and your relationship to your fear so that your fear becomes your ally versus something that's holding you back. So pile number one, no more holding back. And if you have been holding yourself back, which most people do, it's about realizing that how do you hold yourself back? And then do something about it. Again, action it. So if you hold yourself back, and I know you do because you're a human being, it's taking steps to no longer holding yourself back or no longer holding yourself back nearly as much. And have an action plan in terms of how to achieve it. And one sure way to achieve that is to go within. Okay? How will you benefit from this energy? Regeneration and cooperation. Okay? Because these two messages showed up in reverse, sometimes I see them in reverse, sometimes I don't. The way I'm reading it right now is that you are in the process of leaving things behind, but at this particular moment, you feel like you are stuck. So if you are feeling stuck right now, you're in this space of contraction that I was talking about earlier. It's a momentary period before you get birthed forward, before you get catapulted forward. This catapult forward signifies regeneration, being reborn, coming to life, which also means some things have had to be quote unquote burned down. And I don't mean that literally, although for some it literally has. In order to create a brand new experience, in order to create a rebirth. So I already know, if you're pile number one, that you are going through right now or have gone recently through some existential crisis. And I don't know exactly what existential crisis is, but to me, it feels like when we have an existential crisis that we are really asking ourselves some fundamental questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I here to do? So you're either going through this process right now or you have just gone through this process. And when you're in that process, and it's not a comfortable one, things can feel and seem very bleak. But again, you are in this space of contraction, like everyone is, and this moment will pass. And on the other side of this contraction is a brand new birth, a brand new life, a brand new life, a brand new birth. And remember, you'll be going through many of these, not just one. So buckle up, baby. Cooperate. This is about knowing. It's what I was saying earlier, that the universe always supports you. It's impossible for the universe not to support you. Do you believe that you are supported by the universe? If the answer is no, then you might want to ask yourself this question. If the universe always supports me and I don't feel supported, then what's missing? It's either you don't see how you are not being supported because of your perspective, or the universe doesn't support you, which is impossible. It doesn't exist. The universe always supports you. So the message here is quite clear to me. Know that the universe always supports you with respect to what you need. Always. If you need to learn a certain lesson, let's say, the universe is going to support you so that you can learn this lesson, because that's what your soul wants to learn. The universe has no option but to do that. Once you learn a lesson You no longer have to repeat the lesson again. For example, you might be here as a soul in order to experience in order to experience a theme of poverty. So you may be coming from a poverty mindset. And as a soul, you said, okay, I want to transcend my consciousness of poverty, my lack consciousness. In order for me to transcend lack consciousness, I need to have a lack consciousness. So this is your belief system. This is your consciousness. And perhaps you are here to overcome lack of consciousness, to transcend lack of consciousness, because you are here to share that knowledge with others so that they too can transcend their own lack consciousness. Because collectively, when we transcend lack consciousness, we are no longer going to be living in lack. We will be living in a lot more prosperity. Okay? So how does the universe support you in this lesson? Well, likely at the beginning, you were born into a family that had a very poverty mindset or lack consciousness. You would say, well, that's the universe not supporting me. It's exactly what it is. The universe is supporting you so that you can learn this lesson. Because without this lesson, you will not have wisdom to share, and you are here to share wisdom. So always remember that the universe always supports you. This is a brand new beginning for you, for many of you, and it might feel a little bit scary because it feels like you have to jump off the cliff, and which means a lot of faith and a lot of trust in the process. Have faith and have trust in the process, and trust that the universe always supports you. It cannot not support you. That's the biggest message. So that's what I have for you, pile number one. That was a very big message. All right, let's move to pile number two. What energy is supporting you? Pile number two. Tantric journey. So it's 42. Okay. The frequency of tantric journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. To me, this screams divine feminine. The whole world is going through a process where we are beginning to embody and embrace more of the divine feminine in order to experience a greater balance in this world. Okay? So you might be shifting right now, or the energy that's supporting you is helping you shift from feeling of unbalance to more of balance through the expression of the divine feminine. Okay? Which is, well, birthing is a divine feminine, but divine feminine, it's creative. It's not the logic, it's not the rigid, it's the flowy, it's the open, it's the vulnerable, it's the feeling. So the energy that's supporting you in your own journey right now is one of divine feminine, embodying more of your divine feminine. In other words, it will likely be easier for you to express more of your divine going forward. So if you have been suppressing your divine feminine, and which is your creativity, and most humans do, you are being supported in allowing yourself to express more. Now, notice what I'm saying, allowing yourself. You giving yourself permission to express more of yourself through divine feminine ways, through expression. This could be through art of healing. This could be, I'm getting the word designing. You are likely in a space where you are shifting from very left-brained living to more of, I want to say, divine feminine, but not so it's out of balance. It's more so that you can have more equilibrium. So likely you have been feeling out of balance for quite some time. This new energy with the new moon is supporting you in rising and embodying and trusting, first and foremost, trusting your divine feminine, which to me also represents some healing needing to take in the sacral chakra, which is also has a lot to do with a mother wound. So you might have some old unresolved mother wound about your own mother or about being a mother, and it's ancestral. And that has actually, as I say it, it's causing me anxiety here. So if you're feeling a little bit anxiety as I talk about this mother wound, there is a trigger there for you. So it's ringing true. The universe is here to support you in healing whatever that is. Whatever trauma, unhealed pain, whatever experiences you've had in the past that made you shut down on some level, the universe is supporting you, this energy is supporting you so that you can heal it. Here's what happens when you begin to heal it. You experience a brand new birth. So before a brand new birth, often what happens is we go through a process of healing. Healing, incidentally, is return to balance. So you are seeking likely more balance in your life, and you will find more balance when you express it through your feminine. It has a lot to do with trust. Okay? How is this supporting you? Oh my God, healing. Oh my goodness, I got chills everywhere. Healing, 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 and more healing. This new moon energy, specifically for you, pile number 2, is all about ancestral healing. So this is beautiful because on one hand, you are likely going to experience a whole bunch of stuff come up in order so that you can look at it, in order so that you can deal with it, so that you no longer are suppressing and you are more in the expression. Okay. And so yeah, it's about healing. I also get a lot of heart healing. Obviously, when we are holding back emotionally, it's going to be a lot harder for us to express through our heart because we're going to be, not just as open. So there's a lot of healing happening with regards to mother wound. And again, this is ancestral. So this is offering you, this new moon is offering you an opportunity to start something new, to start something fresh. By letting go of the resistance of being yourself, which means if you have been resisting being yourself, then you have been trying to be somebody else. More of the time than not, the reason why we try to be somebody other than who we are is because we believe that who we are will not be accepted. So you likely have some wounds around not feeling accepted or rejection. The problem with that is that when we seek acceptance from the outside, it really doesn't matter. Because unless we accept ourselves from the inside, anything from the outside is going to be short-lived. So this is also healing a wound where you are no longer relying nearly as much on other people's acceptance in order for you to accept and love you. This is what you're here to do. Self-acceptance is a key word for you, probably in this lifetime, but definitely at this point of your life. Okay? So anything that will come up for you is likely going to have its root in rejection or lack of acceptance, unworthiness, anything like that. And that all sits down lower in the lower chakras, particularly chakra number 2. How you'll benefit from this. This card says imagine. Has no number. Oh yeah, 20. Imagine. What this is feeling to me now feels peace of mind, when my emotions are clear. When you begin your healing journey, when you heal old trauma, old wounds, when you heal your past, you automatically become much more calmer because you don't have all that lower energy holding you back. So this healing of the divine feminine, this healing is going to ultimately help you be more at peace with yourself. When you're more at peace with yourself, you're also more at peace with what's going on in the world. It doesn't mean that you like what's going on in the world, but you're more at peace with it because you understand that whatever is transpiring in the world, there is a certain universal order and everything happens the way it's meant to happen. And that's a tough pill to swallow, because if something is meant to happen, how is that us having free will? Well, the free will is, how do we choose to go about what is about to transpire? How we choose to experience what is about to transpire. So we may not be responsible for what exactly will transpire, but we are in a position to decide how we want to experience whatever it is that is going to transpire. And you having peace around that is huge. It's massive. Also, when you have a peaceful mind, it's a lot easier for you to imagine positive things. When you imagine positive things, you are sending energy into that intention. On the other hand, when you are stressed, when you have a lot of negative thinking going on in your mind, your ability to imagine greater things is going to be a little bit thwarted, because you will have a tendency to think about things that are negative, things that are scary. So this healing that you're going to do, apparently, is going to ultimately help you have greater peace of mind. Now think about it for a moment. If tomorrow you woke up and you had peace in your mind, and you had peace in your mind, how would your life be different? What would you do? What would you change? What would you leave the same? What would your thought process be like? What would you decide? Would you decide? Having greater peace of mind is ultimately, I believe, what every human wants, because having a peace of mind also means we have peace in the heart. And when we have peace in the heart, we can be a lot more open. And when we're a lot more open, we are a lot more open to receive whatever it is that we are projecting out. So if we are projecting out peace, if we are projecting out more love, then we will eventually have to be in that experience, because that's how the universal law works. What we put out, we get back in. So you having more peace in your own mind is going to help you create more peace in your own life. Who doesn't want that? And I can tell you one thing for sure. If you have fears around rejection, if you have fears around abandonment, if you have fears around not being accepted, you don't have peace in your mind. You don't, because you don't feel confident. You don't feel sure of yourself. You don't feel solid. You depend on some outside source to make you feel that. It's not a peaceful mind. But this is a huge opportunity for you to heal that pile number 2. And I, for one, would say yes to that. I want peace of mind too, or more peace of mind. All right, that's it for pile number 2. All right, let's see what we have for you. Pile number 3. What energy is supporting you? Remembrance. Oh, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul in body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. It's interesting because this drawing to me it has sharp edges, but I actually feel it as being very flowy. So this is an energy of recognizing certain patterns and behaviors for you, pile number 3. This energy is supporting you in helping you understand, in helping you remember what you're ultimately here for, and what is it ultimately at the end of the day that's really important. If there was one thing that you needed from the universe or from life, you have one thing, the universe says, okay, that one thing that you want, I'm going to grant it to you, but you have to first let me know what it is. And you have one choice. What would you say? What would you say that would be? Self-love, peace of mind, knowing why you're here. What is your purpose? What would be that one thing that you would want? And what they're saying to me is this: whatever that thing is, imagine it and see it and be it as it is in you in this moment. In other words, whatever it is that you would want, it is now up to you to be complete with it. So if you want peace in your mind, image yourself experiencing peace in your mind. That may take some time. You might have to do some things in order to get your mind to be a little bit quiet. Of course, when the mind is quiet, you have far better access to your inner wisdom, and you have a lot of inner wisdom. We all do. And it's not just the wisdom from this lifetime. You have access to vast wisdom of the universe. You have access to universal wisdom. We all do. We just have to be open to receive it. And this new moon energy is ushering this information where it's going to be either easier for you to remember that, to realize that, or you're going to somehow become more aware. So it's an energy of awareness. There's a deep awareness. So likely you're going to go through, well, you are going through transition. We all are, but it feels, it's a very big energy. It's a very powerful energy. It's a very solid energy, and it communicates to me with its vibration. I'm safe. I'm safe. Maybe that one thing that you would want is to feel safe. Imagine what safe feels like. And the reason why you want it is because you know what it feels like. You ultimately know what safe is. And if you are not feeling safe right now, then there is a reason why you don't. And there can be many reasons. Number one is fear. We are all here to let go of unnecessary fear. Unnecessary fear. If you have a fear of snakes, it's not a bad fear to have. You don't want to be bitten by a snake, because sometimes when you get bitten by a snake, you have bad consequences. That's a very normal primal fear. Keep that. If you have a fear of not being loved, if you have a fear of not being accepted, if you have a fear of being rejected, pile number 2 talked a little bit about that, then you are not at peace with yourself. You have no peace in your mind. So again, because my work is all about shadow work, it's about shifting your perceptions, it's about helping you heal through shadow work. This energy is asking you to look at your deep truths. What is it that you believe in? If you believe that you are not lovable, why? If you believe that you can't have a lot of money, why do you believe that? Is it your belief? Is it somebody else's belief? And if it's a belief that you hold and you don't like the belief, do you realize that you can give it up? You can give up your current belief in favor of a new, better, more complementary belief. You are at that choice right now where you can consciously decide what you choose to believe or not believe going forward. So you better be good at deciphering what it is that you believe and don't believe. Do you believe that you're not good enough? Okay, you have your reasons for it. What are the reasons? What proof do you have? And is it really proof? Because you have plenty of proof of how amazing you are. You're just not looking at it. So this is shifting you from being in a space of negativity or looking at yourself from a perspective of lack, to remember that ultimately at the end of the day, there is nothing that lacks within you. Nothing. What may be lacking is your ability to see it, to remember it. At the end of the day, you are a divine being. You are a spark of the divine, which means you're extraordinarily powerful. If you don't believe that you are powerful, then you have a belief system that says that you are not powerful. It's a belief system. If you believe that, and you're the owner, proud owner of it, you can decide to give it up in favor of a new belief. This is about restructuring your mind, assigning new parameters, creating new foundations. This is a year, but also a time of breaking old, outdated, limiting habits. And to break a habit, you first have to become aware of the habit. Habit always serves a purpose. So if you have a habit and this habit is holding you back, then looking at what is the source of my habit, because habit always serves. Once you deal with the source, once you heal the source, the habit goes away. There's no need for the habit. So you adopt a brand new, easier habit, better habit, a more empowering habit. Okay? So this energy is, I want to say, pushing you, maybe not so gently sometimes, at recognizing how you hold yourself back, because you have a tremendous opportunity to release that in favor of something new, in favor of something better. Remember, you're in transition. We're all in transition. And you are transiting from the old to the new. What that means is that you have to let go of the old in order to experience the new. You are definitely letting go of something, and I suspect you're going to be feeling a whole bunch of resistance. I am going through a space right now where I know my work is somehow shifting, what I do, changing. It's just so evident on so many levels, and I don't know what that is supposed to look like, and I feel stuck. I want to control things, and that's not a good idea. So I have to keep going back and remembering, okay, this is part of the process. Release control, trust the process, remembering that the universe always supports me, and it does. It doesn't make this energy go away, but it does make it easier to not resist it nearly as much. So you are likely experiencing quite a bit of resistance right now. Okay? How is this energy supporting you? Courage. Courage to move forward with something new. Courage to be seen. Courage to be heard. Courage to be acknowledged. Okay, that's a big one. If you have some inferiority issues, accepting being acknowledged may come difficult to you because you don't acknowledge yourself. This is asking you to have the courage to know yourself. And you know the saying, know thyself, simply means to know yourself is to realize where your power is. And this is a very empowering time for you. I'm also drawn to the orange here, which is again representing to me healing the divine feminine. And it is certainly this situation with me, a lot of divine feminine healing. So you might be experiencing actually back problems or lower chakra type stuff. You might be feeling stiff, and I actually know a lot of people are feeling that because the divine feminine is on the rise. But this is asking you to have courage to go through this process and no longer be as afraid as you used to being, which means looking at your fears, having courage to look at your fears and to realize that your fear is not you. Your fear is not you. Just because something happened once or twice doesn't mean it will continue to happen. But if you believe something is going to continue to happen, then you will be basing your creation on the belief that something bad is going to happen. We don't want that. We want to do snip, snip to karma. Okay? You are also ripping up a lot of karmic contracts. What that means to me is that actually you might be physically ripping up some contracts for some of you. Maybe you have a contract and you're like, I'm done with this contract. So you may be putting an end to some contracts, and this could be job contracts, friendship contracts, and that's a figure of speech. But these are ancestral contracts. These are karmic contracts. You are in a space of massive release It may not feel like it right now. That's why you're feeling this constriction. But after the constriction, there is this openness and so you're about to emerge, and you're about to emerge feeling more courageous. And I don't know about you, but in my book, that sounds pretty darn good. To be fair. So to me, this speaks about balance, but it also talks to me about being in a position where you're able to see both sides of the coin, both sides of the story. You actually might be someone who's a mediator. You actually might be someone who enters a role of being some sort of a mediator, a counselor, a mediator, a voice of reason, a higher guidance voice. So you likely are someone who has a lot of wisdom. And by the way, wisdom comes from knowledge experienced, which means for you to have this wisdom, you have to have had a lot of experiences. To have a lot of wisdom, you have to have had a lot of experiences, and your experiences are rich. Rich experiences are rich sources of information. So through your experiences, you have grown. Because if you haven't grown, then you have no wisdom. And you are here to share some sort of wisdom to help bring balance to this world, and also to help bring balance to each and every individual who chooses to follow this guidance. Okay, so you are likely a teacher. You are likely some information shower. You show information. You show how something is done. It doesn't have to be in a spiritual sense. You're here to share information, your expertise, and a lot of your expertise, if not most of it, is based on your own experiences and your own inner wisdom. So you are here to share. Okay. Also, having wisdom allows you to see things from different perspectives and be a mediator, but also it allows you to see different choices and different options. So you might be in a position of helping somebody who feels there is no options or choices, but by sharing with them your information and your wisdom and your knowledge, you offer them the ability so they too can see different choices and different options for themselves. And that's very, very empowering. You, pile number 3, are very likely someone who has issues with empowerment, but you are ultimately here to help empower others. Okay. One way to know what you're here for, what you're here to share with the world, is to look at the struggles that you've had most of your life. Whatever is the biggest struggle for you, this is what you are here to transcend through. And by having those experiences, gaining knowledge and wisdom, and then sharing that knowledge and wisdom with the rest of the world, or whoever wants to, hear your information. Okay. You're also a lot about fairness, balance. You might actually be a Libra. Okay. This is not the time to see things one-sided. Nothing is ever one-sided. Or I would say very rare. It's a time to also be open to seeing things clearly and no longer doing this. Oh, I don't see it. I don't want to do it. If I don't look at it, I don't have to do anything about it. Bad idea. This is not the time to avoid. It's not a time to avoid. If you have been sitting on something and you've been avoiding it for whatever reason, it would behoove you to face whatever that is. It could be a project that you have been avoiding putting together because you're feeling insecure. It could be a conversation you want to have or need to have because it's really gnawing at you, but you've just been like pushing it away. This is not the time to keep pushing them away and pretending they're not there, or denying they're not there, or just procrastinating. This is not the time to do that, because it's not going to get easier. It's going to get even more challenging. At the end of the day, whatever it is that you need to face, you need to face. Remember, you have the energy of courage. Also, face anything that is no longer supporting you in your journey. If you have a belief system that is not supporting you in the journey you want to take, then you have to face that belief system. You have to face the programming. You have to face the fear often associated with the programming so that you can let it go. Okay? In order for you to be the best version of you, you have to let go of the aspects of you that are holding you back, which is how you hold yourself back. This is not a time of holding yourself back, pile number 3. Not a time to hold yourself back. And perhaps this will help you. When you remember what you're here for, it's going to be easier for you to do whatever it is that you need to do in order to fulfill your purpose in this world. And ultimately, your purpose, everyone's purpose, is to experience. Okay, that's the highest take. We are here to experience. We are here to shine. We are here to love. We are love. We are here to love. How we love, how we express love, how we don't express love, that all depends on each individual journey. But ultimately, you are here to shine. Okay? Anything that is not holding you back from shining fully, you are being asked to have courage and face it. This is no more time running away from your problems or from your commitments, or from also want to say from your desires. No more running away from that. Now the question is, why would I want to run away from my desire? Well, if you're afraid of whatever it is that you want, and that happens, if you have fears around being successful, if you have fears around being seen, if you have fears around being recognized, you're not going to put yourself out there. Simple as that. Which means you're not going to fulfill what you're here to do. Okay? I will say this to you. I would say that to truly be yourself in this world requires tremendous level of courage. To truly be yourself in this world requires tremendous courage, because this world is full of judgments. Okay? And you and I are here to be the best that we can be despite the judgments. So we first will have to suspend our own judgments about who we are. If you tend to be a judgmental person, if you come from a background of a lot of judgments, you likely hold a lot of judgments about you, and you will hold a lot of judgments about other people and other worlds. I believe you are releasing judgments. You have healthy discernment, but I believe you're at least on the way to releasing more judgments. And that's a big one. Consider for a moment, tomorrow we wake up and everyone holds no judgments. We have discernment, yes, but we hold no judgments, negative projections of other people. Our entire world will change overnight. Is it that easy? Yes. In practicality, no, because it's layers and layers of outdated, limiting programming. But again, you're here likely to speak about the idea of programming. Maybe help people understand how their inner unconscious programming is so important in terms of how we create our own life. So you're here to do big things. Pile number 3. Courage to step into it more fully. All right, that's what I have for you. Please let me know how this connects with you. Oh, I forgot to mention, I am doing a podcast, starting a podcast. We titled it Demystifying Divinity. So we're going to be talking all about divinity and spirituality and demystifying what spirituality is. And I'm very excited about that. I would love for you to let me know in comments what sorts of things you would like us to discuss. What are you interested in hearing? And the more information I have from you, the more you will benefit from what I'm going to bring, because it's going to be helping you answer some of the questions that you would have. So put it down in the notes what you would like to hear us talk about with my friend Jenny, and we will make sure that that's going to be addressed. Until then, thank you so much for being here. Let me know how these messages resonate with you. I look forward to speaking with you. If you would like my help and my team's help in helping you in individual private guidance, that information is down below. Thank you so much, and I talk to you soon. Bye-bye.